Alright, what we have is a 1963 Volkswagen split window bus. Basically what I want to do is a quick walk around. Probably should have filmed as we went to show you exactly, but what we will do is I will explain some of the trials and tribulations that we went through in order to get this thing in the condition it is in. History of the bus. Basically, this bus I purchased as an eBay purchase from a guy in North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. Had it shipped here in a dilapidated state, but she had good bones, good frame, standard Volkswagen rust. Basically everything on the lower portion of the bus was rusty. As you'll see, she does have a lot of pitting, but every bit of cancer has been fixed, at least to the best of my ability. I think, being that I like to find out the history of my buses, that as far back as I've got from before North Carolina, I believe it was out of Tennessee. The title said A1 or A3 or something like that. I think it's the company that Mike Wolf from American Pickers always goes to. That was on the title of this, so maybe I'll give them a call to find out exactly where this bus came from and a little more history. But without further ado, I will start to explain how we got it to this condition. Although not perfect, but it's about ready to go off to paint. Now, I am no choreographer of filmography or whatever it is, so we're just going to freeball this and bullshit our way through it. So, where I started is in the middle. Not to the left, not to the right, but right in the middle. Basically, the floor was gone. Rusted through. The cross members that are underneath the floor were pretty rotten. So if you know about Volkswagens, there's a bunch of tubes and channels that all the cables, the shift rod, heater cables, throttle cable, all run through to get to the front, to the back. So rather than removing all of that, the most of the rust was on the outer portion of the cross members. So I pieced them in, and I'll try to flash in a picture of what it was before then. So after I repaired those, I moved on to the B-pillars. That one, that one, and the C-pillar down there. What I did was I put in a new inner rocker to my outer cross members, and then used each cross member as a reference point for the next one in order so I knew that all of them were straight, so when I put that inner rocker on, I was able to position the rusted out lower portions of the pillars. And typical V-dub, this whole area was rotting out. And about up to here on the lower was too rotten. From there it was solid. So I added in new pillars to the existing one and then fabricated a piece. You can still see where I welded them together. I came down this way and then across here to about this point. So here, over, up, over. Turned out pretty good. Now of course this is covered with a panel. Being a 15 window deluxe, this one will get custom interior. This is a spec vehicle for TWVW, which will also get its air ride suspension. So that one. And over here, same thing, pretty much from here over, up, and over. Actually a little higher on this side. The lower B pillar, that lower, that lower, and then that lower. The same thing happened over here. I had to replace the outside of the cross members, use the one to reference point the next, so on and so forth. Put in a new inner rocker to align everything, so I could use the inner rocker as the reference point to put down the lower pillars. And as we go, I'll try to interject pictures of that as we go. So the next thing I did, which, you know, there's many different ways to get to the same point, is I did the outer rocker on this side. Being I had the inner rocker, I could align the outer rocker to the B pillar, run it across, and then I replaced down here with a new panel and aligned all those components to where my gapping came out pretty close. Now all of this is butt welded. There was some warpage, so I heat shrink some of it because there was a lot of damage to this bus. Someone literally took a hatchet to it. Literally took a hatchet to it and put holes in it. So once all that was aligned, I went to the other side, being I had the inner rocker lined up, and I did the lower outer rocker here. All of that black is, this was Autocraft outer or lower rocker All that is their shitty black coating that comes on it. So, in the meantime, Greg, who is wandering around here somewhere, stripped the whole thing using sandpaper and sanders and stripped it down to bare metal, and then used muriatic acid to dissolve all of the rust. As you can see, the pitting, but by using the muriatic acid, it ate the rust out of the pitting to eliminate the rust. Not saying it's the best way of doing it. It was pretty brutal. The stench of that, I probably took 10 years of my life off, but he also did the roof, you can see. After he would strip some, then he would use Ospo, which is phosphoric acid, and spray it down, so it wouldn't just flash rust right away. So, after that, I moved to the front. You can see on my shelf art there, that's the original nose. This bus was sealing wax red and beige gray, although it doesn't look like it, but the entire bus pretty much looked like that when I got it. Of course, I will put a picture in there. I mean, you can see the volume of rust that was on it. Yeah, there's Greg. There he is. Stripper Greg. So, basically, the entire nose was rotten. We can crawl under here. Maybe we can get some shots. You can see the inner valance we replaced. Lower A arms, or lower A pillars. That one there. Inner valance. And while I was there, from Dub Fab, their haymaker, hay stacker, steering box raise kit, I put that in so it raises the steering box 1.5 inches, because again, this thing is getting air ride and she will be down low. Being a spec vehicle for TWVW Designs, it's getting air ride. That's actually a pretty nice kit. It's about 150 bucks, and it makes it pretty simple. Basically cut out the frame portion that's existing, and you weld in this new portion. But you also have to cut the frame, the other part of the frame, and then I boxed it in with 8-inch plate to secure it. That's what, so the box will sit up in there, and the box sits in here real nice. TWVW Designs is looking into fabricating templates to make that even easier. So, once that was on, A-pillars, we went to the dog legs. Now I'm on my back so you can see from the inside. legs. Now I'm on my back so you can see it from the inside. That dog leg and that dog leg. Those are from Wolfsburg West. And they're pretty nice units. The thing I didn't like about them is they do come in one piece, so if there is any sort of tweak or anything, I mean, your bus has they're molded for the perfect bus. So like any typical reproduction panel, you're gonna have to modify it a bit to fit. Sometimes they fit in there, but this one I had to modify a bit right in this area. As you can see, the flange is a little bigger, so it might have been my fault for putting the A-pillar back a little bit, but it's pretty straight. Okay, also on mine, this part, whoever owned it before me, they cut a floor out, who knows, many moons in the past, and they cut this thing. So I hammered and dollied it back straight, rather than spending a couple $100 for a new one, going into the A-pillars, having to pull that off. I fixed this one. It wasn't rusty, so it was just someone cut it. You can kind of see daylight through there, but that'll all get seam sealed and you'll never see it. Also down here, probably get it while I'm here, this is where the shift rod goes, or the shifter. This was rotten. I rebuilt this entire section here. The front was alright, the back was alright, but I removed that, fixed this, welded it back in at the place it was before. Here, basically to do that, there's a weld here, here, well, here, 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 and then the floor was so rotten I had removed the floor already, so I didn't have to worry about any tack welds or spot welds that were on the top. Took that out, rebuilt this center section, and now it's good to go. I also took this tube out, the heater tube, to make life easy switching the floor. It's kind of tricky, it's a tight fit.